Welcome to the High Value Sales Show of Eversprint.com. I'm Malcolm Louie, the managing member of Eversprint, and today we're speaking with Chris Kropac, the president of PCI Group, a provider of highly secure transactional communications solutions and direct mail services. Welcome to the call, Chris.
Thank you, Malcolm. Pleasure to be here.
Chris, you grew your company's revenue from $12.6 million in 2014 to $47.5 million in 2017, a 277% increase, and in 2018, you'll hit around $52 million. But before I ask you how you grew your company so fast, can you briefly share what your company does beyond my quick intro and how your company differs from the competition?
Sure. We specialize in transactional mail, which basically is privacy mailings, invoices, statements, collection letters, or what I like to call promise to pay letters for the collection industry, financial industries, cable, telephony, and most recently, healthcare.
How does your company differ from your competitors who provide similar services?
Yeah, so a couple different ways. I mean, I think in the industry, we're a little different. We like to call ourselves more technically competent. From the genesis of our company almost 50 years ago, we've been a mainframe or a database company creating large-scale databases for clients. So we're very comfortable with large-scale database applications or data applications. So there's very few things that we've come across that we haven't seen in our past.
Fantastic. Can you share what the three biggest drivers were of your sales growth over the past few years from 2014 all the way through to 2018?
Sure. Of course, it doesn't just start in 2014. The company started in 1970, but we're a family-owned business, started by my dad back in 1970. He was still family-owned. Myself, my brother-in-law, 50-50 partners, married to my older sister. Very, very active in the business every single day. Almost, unfortunately, too active sometimes. But a lot of stuff we do is, I say the first thing you have to do is invest back into your business. Okay, again, a family-owned business. We've had the fortune over the years of doing pretty well. In good times, you have to invest in bad times, and in bad times, you have to invest in your business. So one of the bad times, we actually moved down from New York 10 years ago in 2008, which everybody remembers the financial crisis that happened in 2008. We moved down right in the middle of it. We didn't know that was going to happen by the time we moved, but we were right. We started to move in December 2007 into January 2008. So we sort of lived through the whole thing. During that time, it would be very easy to sort of not spend any money, not invest, just try to hoard as much cash you can. And while you did that, we actually invested into the company. We spent a lot of money into data security, which is very key to my clients right now. When we talk data security, it started with what's called SAS 70 back then, which became SAA 16, which is now SOC 1 and SOC 2, HIPAA compliance, which is medical. We're becoming a high trust right now, which is a new HIPAA compliance out there. PCI DSS, which is credit card applications, and which is federal government for our clients. So obviously that cost millions of dollars at the time when business was not really growing at the time. But when we decided to funnel the money, the tax savings we were getting from a high-cost basis like New York, Long Island, New York, where we came from, moved down to Charlotte, North Carolina. We took the savings from that and funneled it back into the business to say one day the world's got to come back. And when it comes back, I want to be able to, when that billion-dollar company knocks on the door, I want to be able to open up and let them in. And that's fortunately what happened in 2015, which we'll get into later. The second thing I think is the really most important part is your people. I mean, you're only good as your people. And there's a lot of different levels in your company, right? So there's your low-level people going all the way up. I tend to hire people that are a lot smarter than me, right? I'm not the guy that's I always say, laughingly, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I have people around me that help me sharpen up my, right? So you got to know what you're good at, know what you're bad at. And when especially being an owner, what you're not the strongest at, you got to bring people in to make that, to handle that burden for you, right? So that you can do what you're strong at and you have other people. For instance, I have people around me that are real detail-oriented, real great operations people. It's scary to do that, especially when you're a family-owned business. You're hiring people in that can basically take your job, but knowing that by doing that, it's the only true way you can grow the company. So you cannot grow the company. You can not have hyper growth, what we just went through, without having a good team to rely on, and then as you're growing in people, it's infectious. When you have a good team, you're bringing on new people. The new people that you're bringing on are a good team. They want to be part of the team. They want to do that. It helps the ball rolling down a lot. Last, I would say, is actually, customer relationships. So what happened to us is we got an opportunity to do business with a large player in the marketplace, and our growth came through them. We're actually a subcontractor strategic partnership with them. We started doing business with them a long time ago, and what I believe in with your clients is you always have to try to do the right thing for your clients, no matter what it costs you, right? So even if sometimes it's not the right decision as far as your own company is concerned, but if it's the right thing to the company, you have to invest into it to provide that product or service. Now, I'm not saying you have to go out and lose money. That's the wrong thing to do. But you have to tell your client what you're good at and what your client is not good at. And when you're good at something, you got to make sure you're really, really good at it, right? And you got to focus on that. I have almost a Jack Welch theory. If I'm going to be in a marketplace or I'm going to provide a service, I want to be number one and number two. If I'm number 3 or 4 and I can't get to number 1 and number 2, there's no reason for us to be in the business at all.
Right.
So we have a very, very a very focused market that we're in, a transactional market. There's a lot of direct mail out there. Direct mail is a $1 trillion industry. We don't do a lot of the stuff that is considered junk mail that you just get in your mailbox, the postcards, the marketing mail. We don't do that. Can we do that? Yes. But it doesn't require as much overhead as what we have. And when I say overhead, it's the data overhead, it's the systems overhead, it's the security overhead that we have. So our clients need that overhead and are willing to pay a little bit more for that overhead. But again, it fits the mold in there. We like to call ourselves, we're an ice cream shop. We sell 150 flavors of vanilla, meaning that it's great if you fit the mold, it's awesome. If you don't fit the mold, I might not be the right guy for you, right? So what we do is have great relationships with clients. We do work with clients that are great, good to do business with. They have to be very fair. We have to like the client as well as they have to like us. It's a little different, right? There's a marriage there, because in my world, you don't just get a client and you just buying a product and you walk over and you can get the next one next door. We're relationships. We're contract based. Once you sign a client on, it's for a year, 2 year, 3 year. Many clients that we have 10, 15 years. Our oldest clients are 35 years old. So, I mean, we have a lot of longstanding clients. It's an investment both to client and to us to do that. So you have to be real careful that what you're bringing in good clients and you have great relationships with your clients.
Right. Can you elaborate? Let me recap the 3 drivers to make sure I have it straight in my head and in my notes. Number 1, you need to invest back into your business despite what the current economic situation might be. Number 2, you need to hire the right people and good people. And number 3, you need to really make sure you have the right customers and make sure that they're deep and long term. Does that sum it up?
Correct.
Okay. Now,
correct.
When you go, can we elaborate, dive a little bit deeper into each of these 3 areas? When you talk about investing back into your business, how do you decide when to invest and when not to invest? Like going back in 2008, 2009, when you decided to invest millions into the certification process. I mean, that was a pretty hefty investment and a strategic investment, which in hindsight worked out great. But at the time, how did you decide that was the right thing to do?
I wish I could be more scientific, but it's a gut feel. You got to know your company. You got to know what you're good at, what you're not good at. And that's what we sort of did. In our history, we did a lot of different products. When my dad used to be with the company, we were a little too spread out, and you couldn't really properly support all the different services that you did. And we sort of got focused. Remember I said we're very, very focused in this transactional mail. Mm-hmm. And once you get focused in transactional mail, you got to figure out, how do I get to number 1? How can I compete with the guy that at the time was $1 billion player and I'm doing $15 million? How can I compete with that guy? Right? I can't compete with them maybe on breadth because they're much, much bigger than us. They got more people than us. But if I can compete with them on what? Security? Great. I can price? Yes. Service? 100%. Right? And that's what you have to do. So part of that piece is the security. I can compete with them, and there's only one way to compete with them, is that was to that was to spend money. And I don't want to say that, it's bad as it, but to me, it was like, you have to do it or else you're not in business.
Right.
There's no option.
Right.
Your clients need it. You have to do it. I wish it was more scientific, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's what you call experience, right?
Yeah.
So for the second,
knowing your business and knowing your customers.
Yes. Crucial. For the second driver, people, right? You mentioned how you hire good people, hire people smarter than yourself. Can you talk a little bit about your hiring process and how you figure out that they are smarter than you and that they are a good fit company for the long term?
Well, I mean, so there's a couple different ways. Years ago, it was obviously a little easier to hire people years ago. The marketplace right now is really, really difficult. But you tend to hire people that you know in the industry. We've been in the industry for a long time. You have a good reputation in the industry. People know who you are in the industry. So when you post a job, you know somebody that's out there, right? And you talk to references, and you talk to references of people and stuff. Now, that's obviously not for everybody, right? So that's not for the line people, the production employees. That's for the higher up people.
Mm-hmm.
We go through a lot of pain. So we actually just opened a facility in Dallas. We moved people from from Fort Mill out to Dallas to start it. Then we got some people going out there. You have, every time you hire an employee, you're taking a little bit of a gamble, right? It's a little bit of a gamble every time you hire somebody. And, both people are doing a dance. So recently it's been really, really difficult to hire people because there's nobody in the marketplace right now, right? So anybody that's really good, the company is not going to let them go. They're going to give them a couple extra dollars to stay there. And you find a lot of times the people that are on the street right now, tough employees right now. So, besides the fact that, the key employees that we knew somebody, if somebody recommended them to us or we knew them in the industry and you do something like that, that's how you do it. And they're coming aboard, okay, to make more money, to run into stable company, or recently to get on the winning team. I mean, so we've been lucky enough to get on the winning team, and we're attracting really, really good people because the market's not always that great in the direct mail world, right? So people have been stagnant a little while. We've been growing. We've been growing a tremendous amount. We have all the new technology, all the new equipment out there. So it's, we're able to attract better talent right now because if someone understands the industry and they come and see our facility, they see what we have. And again, everybody wants to be with the new stuff when you grow and you're doing a lot of work. We work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So there's an excitement that's built into the place at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Another CEO I interviewed mentioned how momentum plays a big factor in his company's success, right? Because people want to be part of it, and it builds on itself. And what you described, sounds exactly like that.
That's a great word, momentum. Everybody, again, momentum, I call it be on the winning team, right?
Yep.
So if you got good momentum, you're on the winning team right now. Not everybody is, and some people that want to, come out and be on that team. I just hired 2 people for my Dallas facility that came and just, wants to be on a smaller team. They come from larger organizations, smaller family-owned business. They want to have a say in the future success of the company. And it's also means something to them as well, as they can pick up the phone, or when they call my cell phone, I answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's nice to be able to talk to the owner of the company and do that. So.
Yeah, it is. It's nice having that, having those lines of communications open. For factor number 3, customer relationships. For sure, I understand how you want to make sure you have deep relationships with the right customers. Now, do those relationships also extend beyond customers, but also you're keen to develop them with your prospective customers as well as with strategic partners who can help you to grow your business further?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when we see key relationships, you're right. Clients are big, but you're only as good as your partners as well. And your partners, your equipment manufacturers, in my case, Pitney Bowes supplies all my inserters. Canon supplies all my printers. They also provide service for me. So they help keep the equipment up, because of all the equipment that you're buying, it breaks, their equipment, right? So you need to keep it up all the time. So you have to have really, really strong relationships with your vendors as well. And I think that's part of all being the same thing. Everybody's got to be fair. We all are here to make money. Everybody's in business to make profit. It's good to be profitable, okay? Not overly profitable, don't get me wrong, but it's good to be profitable. You have to put that out there, right? And you have to be fair. We're all going to have problems. Okay, everybody's going to have problems. There's nothing you can do about the problems, right? But when you have a problem, be fair about help your vendor out. We did this when we onboarded the large client in 2015 that led to the 300% growth. We had good relationships with the clients, but now we went a completely different relationship because obviously we went from, doing 1x to 3x overnight. So with that, you require a lot more equipment, a lot more, there was a bigger learning curve, a lot more technical support, a lot more service support. You just need a lot more resources. The companies, while they knew us, the higher ups really didn't know us, didn't understand what the situation was, why we were doing this, what we were doing, what's going on, what's happening, and you have to rely on it. Then you have to trust that your reputation holds true, and you have to just continue talking to everybody and say, listen, we're all in this thing together. We all can work together. We all can work together, which I've found in good vendors at this point. It's a team approach, right? So I routinely, if I'm having a problem with a client or a client file or doing something, I'll bring one of my vendors on the phone and I'll say, hey, I need you guys to get on the phone to work with my client. Okay. And that's skipping over me, right? Or will be involved, obviously, but skipping over me. And that shows a tremendous amount to your client that you're willing to hook them up with the vendor of yours. And it helps the vendor as well because I need to do whatever I need to do is a problem, right? And we need to solve that problem. However, we need to solve that problem. We're all in this thing together. Let's solve the problem. Let's get going. Because at the end of the day, if I can't put that piece of mail in the mail stream, that person can't pay the bill. They can't get the compliance record. They can't get whatever they need. And then that fails for the client. So you need everybody sort of on the same team. Again, it's no longer client-vendor relationship. It's really strategic partnerships. Okay, and those partnerships go from your clients as well as all your vendors. Listen, my paper vendors are big, paper and envelope vendors. If I don't have a piece of paper, I can't print anything, right?
Yep.
So it's really important to me that I have the right paper here, and the paper,
yep,
right, and the envelope's the same way.
Right. So. Now, you mentioned paper, and when you mentioned that to me, the thought occurred to me is, we're in an increasingly digital world. Well, do you ever foresee a time when what you're doing now will just be done electronically instead?
Yes. So I've been saying for about 8 years, in 10 years from today, I'm going to be out of business, but I haven't said today yet, right?
Okay.
So in 10 years from now, I'm going to be out of business. I just don't know when that clock is going to start. So in the world, especially email, right? So email is a great communication device, but we all get hundreds of emails. The more phishing stuff that goes on, these phishing scams that go on,
mm-hmm.
the more credible mail becomes, right? Because, listen, I'm okay with paying via my bank, right? Because I trust, that's a trusted relationship, but I'm not going to put a credit card in an email. It just doesn't work out that way, right? Yeah. So, and all the phishing attempts that happen in this actually is solidifying the mail world. Now, two things happening. So in my world, I'm 53, so I'm old now, right? So I like to get a paper invoice so I can have it and I can touch and feel it, and I pay online, right? The newer generation, yes, my kids are 15 and 17. They don't even know what a piece of mail is, even though I'm in the business. I get that. That's a different story, right?
Yeah.
So we think when that generation gets in here, it might be all electronic. But the generation right before them, which is the millennials, right? The millennials are all electronic. They're all digital, all everything. Well, there's marketing studies out there. The millennials are the number one user of direct mail. Yes, the millennials are the number one user of direct mail when it's tailored to them, when it's a personalized piece that's relevant to what they want. They spend more time reading the mail than any other category of people right now in an age group kind of deal.
Interesting.
That's pretty surprising in the world.
It is.
Very interesting, right? So that means that while digital is very, very big in our world, hard copy is still there. It's still there. It's still relevant. Now, the tie-in is relevant, So, of course, we're going through a lot of stuff with the Googles and the Facebook and the Amazons in the world right now with the privacy and the data security and all that, which I think that's going to change the world a little bit more. But, if you're on Facebook, you see an ad for something you just looked at, you just bought a grill mitt or something on Amazon, right? So those tie-ins. And those tie-ins are important. So when we have those digital tie-ins together with the direct mail, it makes that piece more relevant. And so what I see in the future is maybe not the volume but more targeted mail pieces and color.
Yep.
Okay, color means a tremendous amount. The new technology we have now is all inkjet printing, right? So it's changed over the last 5 years. It went from primarily black, or what's called toner, to now full color inkjet. And the full color inkjet's no different than your desktop device. Just the printers are a lot bigger and better quality and all that kind of stuff, right? But it allows us to fully customize a piece. We're what's called a white paper factory. We have white paper in, your dreams out. So we can fully customize a piece. We basically print from PDFs. So you can create a PDF that's completely custom to Malcolm. The next sheet out there is completely customized to Chris Kropac. You couldn't do that in the old world.
Very cool.
In the old world was stock printing, was backgrounds. Now it's 100%. Every single document that you put out is 100% geared to that one person, one-to-one marketing or personalized or whatever you want to call it. So with that being said,
this is just beyond the first name being changed, right? You're talking about much of the content being customized.
All the content, colors. There's Ford's been doing it for a long time. If you go into a dealership and you're looking for a white car, they send you a mail package within 2 days. That's the same exact white car that you were looking at.
Right.
If you're looking at a black car, you get a black one. A red one, you get a red one. The same kind of situation, you can do that now.
Right.
Where you couldn't do that before. So the advances in technology have been such to keep mail relevant. And actually, listen, mail's been going down. Third-class mail has been going up a little bit. First-class mail is what we do is sort of stabilized a little bit there, and it's going down a little bit, but there's still a lot of mail out there, right? And still people still like the medium. So, again, I'm going to say we got 10 years left. I just don't know when I'm going to go 9 years and 364 days yet.
Yeah. Now, in terms of your plans for, say, 2019, does it involve positioning yourself for being able to do more of this customized printing?
Well, we're really fully positioned right now. We've been very fortunate in the industry. We've just did another deal with Canon to refresh our printing engines or the printers that we have. So we're fully positioned for it. Now it's really going out and just acquiring more clients that fit the need that we have, that we provide.
Okay.
Or the want.
Can you share a little bit about your ideal clients that you're looking to target?
Yeah. So we have two types of businesses. Again, it all revolves around financial or privacy stuff. We're looking at our traditional businesses, actually collection agencies, financial institutions, cable companies. We're looking to continue doing business with the top performing collection agencies out there in the country. Our new market that we're going into that evolved after 2015 is really large enterprise or medium-sized enterprises that have in-house plant and mail facilities, and that's a huge growth factor. So what happens is somebody has grown and they're from a couple $100 million to $1 billion or $2 billion. They've grown by acquisition, and one of the acquisitions had a mail department in it, and they think they have more control of printing their own invoices out internally rather than sending them out to somebody else, like somebody like myself. And what you realize is our printers are $1.5 million. They're 5-year assets. You got to refresh them because technology changes. And the inserters are $1 million a piece. You can't have one. You need to have two of everything. So when somebody takes a look at an in-house facility, and I always, argument's sake, they're doing 1 million pieces of mail a month or whatever you want to call it, and it costs them, let's call it $1 an invoice, right? If they're able to cut down and they go to digital, and usually a lot of times when you go to digital, you can cut 10 to 15% of your outbound mail out. That's usually the market that the number that people uses. And if you go from mailing 1 million pieces of mail a month to 750,000 pieces of mail a month, well, your building's still the same, your equipment's still the same, your people are still the same, you're still working the same amount of hours because you're still there, right? So yes, you save on some postage and you save on some envelopes, but you don't really save any money. When a client like this comes out and they go digital and they go from 1 million pieces of mail a month to 750,000 pieces of mail a month, they're only paying for what they're sending out. So they're able to, again, be more customized in their approach. They're able to communicate with their client like that client wants to communicate. Some clients like email. Some clients like text. Text is huge right now. Text to pay. Text is a big thing in the marketplace right now. Or hard copy, right? Go back to outsource your communications to a guy like us. We'll handle communication with your clients. Again, whether that's mail, email or text. I handle emails and texts my clients all the time because it's easy. It's rather than building your own interface, we have it all for them, and we'll communicate however we want, however my clients want to their customers. And just communicate on your core business. What's your core business? Is your core business direct mail? No, it's not.
No,
it's selling insurance or collecting or cable or telephony or whatever it might be, and leave, outsource your non-core elements.
Right. Now, when someone has a in-house printing facility, they work the numbers and they're thinking, man, we're spending so much on this, and we have people on staff, we have this huge amount of capital equipment that we need to refresh every 5 years, and then they look at an alternative solution like PCI. Now, how does that work? Do you absorb their team, make them part of your team, and you somehow absorb their facility somehow to make it easy for them to make the transition, or do they just write it off and lay off the people instead of them doing the printing?
A little bit of everything, right? So first thing we do is we go in and do an assessment. So we've developed in-house assessments that we'll just go out and we'll just sort of grade what the client's doing. A lot of stuff they're doing is, hey, are you getting security and compliance? That's big in today's world, right? Because one breach can mean a lot on the confidence of your company, right?
Okay.
So we'll go out and we'll do an assessment. We'll take a look at it. Once the company decides to outsource the work, really we're not in the business to lay people off. We don't want to lay anybody off. But a lot of times we say it all depends on how many people are there. You're always looking for good people.
Yep.
Right? If these people have been with you 5, 10, 15 years, take them and put them into spots where you need them, which is your core business. They could be from running an inserter to now answering a phone. Hey, they've been with the company 10 years. They love the company. They're ingrained with that company. They're the best person to talk to your clients right now.
Yep.
They could go and do something else, right? So we never say, listen, let's get rid of it. Now, unfortunately, sometimes people do get let go in the process, right? Anytime you outsource something, sometimes that happens. Most times, a lot of those assets go in and just do different things that support the core business of my clients. And that's really, really important. The core business, let's get those people that really care about your company and let them sell your core business, your core product, whatever that might be.
Right. Okay, great. Now, you talked about reaching out to the top collection agencies and reaching the new market, those that have their own in-house printing. Can you share what your plans are to connect with them, to engage them, and share with them how you can help them?
Yeah, we go to a lot of industry trade shows. We've been doing that for the collection space for a long time. We are starting to and go out more digitally, SEO engines and some really creative marketing ideas and some blogs and some white papers and stuff like that to try to get them. Not gonna tell you, it's a challenge. I mean, it's part of one of the biggest challenges of, I think, any company. Trying to get good people and then trying to get good clients, and where do you find them? How do you penetrate them? A lot of times everything's relationship. When you're somebody like me, if you're a successful company, you have a guy like me in your back pocket already. You've been working with somebody,
yep,
right? Because we like to think that we help a client grow or maintain their business. If we do our job correctly, right, they'll be able to grow their business as well, because we'll be able to get everything out on time, and they'll be able to, the collections are going down, the invoices get out on time, and they get payments and all that kind of stuff. So it's hard. I mean, it's hard, but there's always opportunities out there. So, and you got to be ready when opportunity knocks.
Right, exactly. Is there one particular marketing channel that's worked best for you?
Relationships. I mean, it keeps going back to relationships. We got involved in the collection space. We penetrated that. We went to the trade shows, and you just got to know everybody, right? The people have been in business for a long time. You're the new player in the marketplace. We have the same issue going on plants right now. So I would say right now, face-to-face is for us, again, because we're not looking to go out. We're not a consumer brand. We're not looking to bring millions of clients on.
Yep.
If we bring on, a client or two a month, that's great business for us right now. And if we get a couple hits a year, that's great business for us now.
Right.
So you just got to keep going out. You got to keep meeting people. We go to a lot of, I'll say, equipment shows, trade shows that typically you don't go to market. You're just going out there just to meet people.
Yep.
Right. And people meet you, your story, what's going on. Again, you're on you have the momentum in the industry right now. So people like to hear that. And then obviously when you have the momentum, hey, I got a project. Can you help me out? Sure. And then you help them out, and then you get involved a little tiny bit. And then once you're there a little bit, then you prove yourself. Every single day you got to prove yourself.
Right.
We've been proving ourselves every day for 50 years. So.
Yeah, that is the key, right? Just a constant, continuous improvement. It adds up at the end of the year.
100%.
Three last questions for you. In one line, in one sentence, how would you describe PCI?
I've been trying to figure that out for 30 years. So we're a family-owned business that really cares about the people and really cares about the customers to provide a mission-critical service for them.
All right. Yeah, that's a good one-liner.
Good or bad?
No, that's a good one. Very succinct and to the point, and gets to the gist of what you shared with me during this interview. And the two final questions. You already talked a little bit about this already, but maybe you can recap again. Who are your ideal clients, and what's the best way for them to reach you and your team?
So our ideal clients are top-performing collection agencies. Obviously, you can call us or you can see us at the shows. We're at the major collection shows. Large to medium-size enterprise companies that have in-house print and mail department. We'll be reaching out to you. You'll see us at the shows. Come on and say hello. You'll like what you have to see.
All right. How about if they want to contact you now through your website? Can you maybe share your website and how to contact them, by telephone or email or contact us form, whatever works best?
Sure. You can always, contact us. We have our website up, PCIgroup.com. You can fill out a contact form, or obviously you can call the business anytime, 803-578-7700. And you can ask for myself, Chris Kropac, and I'll put you to the right person.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us today, Chris, and sharing how you accelerated your company's high-value sales.
Thank you very much, Malcolm. I appreciate the opportunity.
We've been speaking with Chris Kropac, the president of PCI Group, about his company's rapid growth. For interviews with other fast-growing, high-value sales companies, or to learn how we can accelerate your firm's high-value sales through automation, visit eversprint.com.